Okay, in the last lecture, we talked about the new product introduction from a concept point of view and from a process point of view, and trying to understand why it exists and how it is helpful for a product manager. In this lecture, I want to take a more deeper dive into the actual execution of this process. You are a product manager. You now have a task to start the definition of a new product. How will you start along this process? What kind of questions are you going to be answering, and what kind of questions you're expected to answer? How will you actually tactically, the mechanics of it, and so forth. So I'm going to walk you through this at a detail level, but not too much detail as to overwhelm us. So the graphic here that I show here now is again the one that we used last time, but the detail here that we want to focus in this lecture is this. Each of these vertical lines that you see, they basically, like I said, they are gates. There's new product introduction gate, and so what you will do as a product manager is you're going to come in with a set of with some information, with your proposal. You will, on the day of the date, on the day of that NPI, you're going to go in with a set of answers to a set of questions. So what are these questions that you will walk in? Essentially, for the NPI, your goal being that you want an approval from the board to proceed forward with your preliminary investigation. You want to have answers to the following specific questions. Number one is, what is the product concept overview? Provide a short overview of what the product concept is. And then you need to talk about the market a little bit. You want to say what your target customer profile is. For example, if you're developing a mobile phone app, mobile web app, so to speak, are you targeting an iOS platform or an Android platform, or is it going to be somebody with a desktop application only as a target market? Is it a non-mobile? Is it an enterprise class customer, or is it an end consumer, as in real consumer, not the business customer? So all these, as much as possible, you are clear. You want to show to them that this is what your thinking is for the product. And on the marketing plan, you want to say that, look, having identified that this is a very top level market segment, here is my idea of how I want to make these customers know what my product is. That's basically marketing plan or a go-to-market plan. Basically, how are you going to let them know that your product exists and they should try it out? And then you're also going to talk about what the assumptions and the risks are. Here it becomes important for you to be as much open-minded as possible, because let me say it this way. If you are a beginning product manager, obviously you have a lot of passion for your product, which is good. We want that. At the same time, if you get too caught up in this passion and too much attached to the product prematurely, one risk you will run into is you will become sort of a closed-minded to what the risks are to this product. So it helps to be detached from the product a little bit at this early stage, so that you are very open-minded about it. And if you run into a risky situation or a question or two that you have no answer, or if you do realize that there are some inherent risks if you go down in this path, you want to highlight that. You don't want to, don't be afraid that NPRB is going to find this too risky and then will reject you to go through the next stage. Now, it may happen, but if you go in with an attitude that, look, there is a risk here, but here is my plan to either eliminate that risk or reduce that risk, then you will be successful. In fact, that is what is expected from a product manager. So this is, and then you will obviously have a a description of who your team members are in terms of product team and so forth. And then, so assuming that you have all these answers covered, you will go through the NPI, and then you will now be given permission to start investigating the concept in a more detailed fashion. And at the same time, most likely there will be a date set for the concept approval presentation also, perhaps a few weeks down the line. And then for the concept approval, you're going to come back with a more detailed set of questions and answers and components to your proposal. For the concept approval, you're going to dig into more specifics of who the actual people are who will be working on this product. That is important because everyone on the engineering side or marketing or operations side, they have their work cut out. And if you're going to be asking them to work on this new product development, or even at the early investigation stage, you want to make sure that you get the approval from the management, their group management and so forth. That cannot be unknown or uncertain at this time. You must have the commitment from the project team leaders or the group team leaders to lend the team to your product development. That is your responsibility. And you're going to also dig into details of the market sizing. You're going to talk about how big the market, target market that you're going after, and what portion of that target market you are going to be focusing on and your product is going to be serving. And if you end up serving that particular market segment, what is your competition, and fighting with the competition, and out of that, what is going to be your share of market. And so that analysis, we'll get to that in more detail as we in a follow-on in another lecture. But the point is that you want to have a very sure-footed idea of what your market analysis is going to be. And then you're going to, again, with the same thoroughness, you want to investigate and talk about what your competition is going to be and how you're going to stand out. Your product is going to stand out set against the competition, differentiators, and how are you going to win against the competition, what's your competitive strategy, and so forth. And then you are going to also, here it's very important, you're going to talk about feasibility of the development. Meaning there's a development plan that you will need to develop ahead of this meeting with your engineering manager or a development manager. And that development plan should talk about the feasibility of the development, what is the schedule, how much time they need, and what is the cost, how much money, how much budget they need to allocate, because that engineering manager is going to turn around and ask the senior management for the budget allocation because this product development has been approved or is going on under consideration. And so and then you're going to talk about the assumptions. Again, you're going to dig into more details as to where you are as far as your assumptions are concerned. And then obviously you're going to wrap this whole thing up in a meaningful story in a way that makes a very compelling case if you believe that this product has to be developed for the good of the company and the revenue opportunities going forward. Either it is strategic or it is the pure revenue generation for the next few 3, 4, 5 quarters after the product is launched. And then you're going to, so basically this is the process that I'm talking about. And if your case is thorough, if you have made your case tight, then you will now be given permission to go through the concept approval phase.